Hey friend, welcome to the Feminine Initiate Podcast, a space for online coaches, creatives, and visionaries ready to do the thing while reclaiming their feminine power, manifesting their desires, and creating the impact they know they're here to make. Let's get into it. Hey there, welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're having an amazing week so far. Today, as I mentioned last week, I want to talk to you about manifestation. I have spoken a lot about it on the podcast and I've interviewed other experts in the field, but I haven't really provided a full encompassing episode about manifestation. And I wrote a book on it alongside 3 other co-authors, but I thought this was a great opportunity to come and share my own take and perspective on manifestation, as well as the 9 steps or chapters that we outline inside our book, which really walks you through step by step towards manifesting your desires. And it's based on our personal experience, myself and my 3 co-authors. But before I get into that, I want to let you in on something. And this is something that I haven't really shared with many people. It's about the title of our book, Manifesting with Purpose. So, backstory of how the book came to be. My co-authors and I were in a coaching certification program to become certified mindset and manifestation coaches. When we had decided that we were going to write a book together, we each chose 2 chapters, which is 2 topics of the program, of the process of manifestation, what we were learning, that we really resonated with. And that's how the structure of our book came to be. We had written the chapters and we didn't really have an order for our chapters yet. But when we started to look at it all, once it was complete, it made total sense that we had essentially created a roadmap to be able to lead someone from the beginning of their desires to the end, to truly experiencing that transformation and the realization of their desires. When we were writing this, however, and I'm saying that it's the process of manifestation, however, none of us referenced manifestation. The only chapter in the entire book where you will see the word manifest is in the introduction. And that's because when we had compiled the book together and we were in the final editing process, we had to pick a title. And so we had a brainstorming call together and we were brainstorming a whole bunch of different titles. And somehow we came across Manifesting with Purpose. And if I'm being totally honest with you, it didn't fully resonate with me at that point. But my 3 other co-authors seemed to love it. And I was like, yeah, okay, it works. However, I said, if we're going to be including the word manifesting in our title, then we at least need to include the word in our introduction to define what it is, since we didn't share anything about it in our chapters. And so that's exactly what we did. And so the only space or the only spot that you will see the word manifest or manifestation inside our book is in the introduction and probably in the foreword, since it was written by our mentor, Kathleen Cameron. But that is the only place. And the reason being is because manifestation is but a fancy word to define the process of turning a thought to a thing. And that is exactly what our book outlines. It outlines the steps to take to be able to turn a dream that we once had on the screen of our imagination into our actual physical reality. It is the process of goal achievement. It's exactly that. And so the reason why I'm telling you this is because I know that by virtue of listening to this podcast, that you are familiar with the word manifestation, that you are open to the idea. Maybe it's something that really resonates with you. But if not, and if you feel like there's still a part of you that thinks that manifestation is like wishy-washy and it's not totally something tangible and it's just kind of wishful thinking, then I want to rewrite this with you so that you could know that manifestation is simply a word for goal achievement or for creating your desires, for turning your thoughts into things in your actual physical reality and that you have actually been manifesting all along. And I feel like when we could realize that we're already doing it, it makes it so much easier to have the faith, which is one of the steps, to be able to create bigger and better results in our life, to really reach for our greatest dreams, to go a little further, to not only settle for the things that we think that we could get in this life, to the things that we feel like would be okay and would make us, we don't want to be greedy by asking for more, and would actually allow us to just go after what it is that we love. We've done it before. We've always done it. And so why not do it on purpose to actually get the results that we want? Because we are worthy of those results. Again, that's another step. So let's dive right in. These are the 9 steps. And I don't even know if steps is the appropriate way to be able to share this, because as you'll see, these steps are not so much like you take one step up and then that's it. Then, you can check off the box and like it's done. You don't have to look at it again. Like these are all things that must happen together, and they must all be happening at the same time in order for us to really achieve these big goals and desires of ours. So, having said that, I will still use the word steps for lack of better words. So, step 1 is know your worth. Take a moment to be real honest with yourself and acknowledge whether you are embodying the sole character or the main character in your life, or if you are a support role, supporting those around you, supporting your family, your spouse, your kids, your boss. Everybody else gets priority over you. Inside this chapter, I briefly talk about my experience in waking up from my coma and sitting in my hospital bed after having been informed that my life was going to look totally different after the car accident, that I was going to be a dependent for the rest of my life and I wasn't going to be able to return back to post-secondary education or go back to work. And it's in that moment that I recognized my creative power in my life. And I had recognized that prior to that moment, I had held myself back so much in life, not because I was actually physically limited in any capacity, but because I chose to give in to false internal narratives that limited me from being able to truly live the way that I wanted to live. And here's the thing about these limiting internal narratives or limiting beliefs. We all have them, but most of them don't even come from us. They're not even ours, yet we take them on. They're stored in our subconscious mind, and research shows that we can actually have things ingrained inside our DNA and imprinted onto our nervous system that are 14 generations prior. We can also begin to acquire limiting beliefs about how the world is while we're in the womb. And from ages 0 to 7, our brain is in a theta brainwave state, which is the state of hypnosis. Everything that was going around us, we were just taking it in as truth. We didn't yet have the ability to accept or reject that information, because that is a conscious faculty where we can actually decide that, nope, I'm not going to accept this information. I'm going to reject this. But we couldn't do that prior to the age of 7. So whatever was said around us, our caretakers, our parents, our teachers, our siblings, our peers, friends, everybody, we were taking that in as truth, and that was shaping our world. We're not taught that we're the creator of our reality. We're not told that whatever is happening around us that can be taken in from our 5 senses, we're taking it in and then we're actually bringing it through our own internal filters to then project whatever qualifications, definitions back onto that outside thing. We are literally creating our world for better or for worse. And so it's safe to say that in our own life, in our own unique reality, there is no one that is more worthy than us. And it takes truly acknowledging this to be able to create something more of our experience. Step 2 is to think positive. How we think dictates how we feel, and how we feel dictates our actions. And so we want to think positively so that we feel better and that we take correct actions. We know that if we're thinking of negative thoughts, we're not motivated to take positive action and move forward. And so the more that we could think happy thoughts, knowing that we're the creator of our life, we get to choose. And we get to choose to make happiness a priority for us. So let's make that a priority. And this isn't about having the toxic positivity. This is truly doing the best that we can and embodying a growth mindset, knowing that everything is capable of growing and changing. And so we aren't just doomed to continue to recreate our past experiences over and over and over again, that we can in fact make different decisions and we can change and experience something new. And that everything is a learning opportunity for us. Even the negative experiences, good and bad, there is something to learn. And when we open ourselves up to be able to receive those learnings and reflect on it, we can turn every situation into something positive to fuel our future. Step number 3 is to remember the power of choice. Only we have the ability to choose our thoughts and to choose our actions in life. Nobody else can choose for us. Only we can choose that. And sometimes we can feel so indecisive, and we think that in order to mitigate not being able to make a decision, I'm not going to make a decision. But even then, not making a decision is a decision in itself to not choose between however many options. So just recognizing the power. You are, again, the sole director of your life. You are choosing your experience. Own your choices. This is about taking responsibility for your life and your actions. Also recognizing that we all have free will, all of us. And so we are responsible for our own actions and our own thoughts, and everybody else is responsible for their own actions and their thoughts, presuming they're not a dependent. If it's, children and a dependent, then of course you are responsible for them too until they become an adult and they can take responsibility upon themselves. But for the most part, we're each responsible for our own choices. Even if sometimes that choice can be hard. I'm not saying that it's not going to be hard, but even in that time, we have the ability to make those tough choices. And so we always get to choose what it is that we want to experience. Number 4 is know what you want. What do you desire? What is it that you want? What is it that you would love to experience? Up until this point, we've been really focusing on our self-worth, recognizing the responsibility in our life, recognizing that we are the sole creator of our own life. And so we are going to choose to think positive, take positive action, and create positive momentum in our life. And once we've gotten all of that, once we know just how powerful and worthy we are, then we can allow ourselves to dream it big. Not dream of the things that we think that we can do because it makes sense from what we've experienced previously. No. Now that we know that we are a powerful creator in our life, what is it that we would love to experience? Now that we know that we are the interpreter of everything that we experience and that everything that we see, it's actually coming through us first. And so the mere fact that we are seeing, maybe someone else having the success that we would love, but we don't think that we can get, the mere fact that we're seeing that is proof that we are absolutely capable of achieving that as well. So let's not lay anything on the table. If we want it, then we can most definitely have it. Let's start setting our sights on that and begin taking action towards it so that we're creating a life that truly lights us up while we're here, because we're all only here for this one time around. So what would you love to experience? If you're not quite sure what it would be, or if you're not quite sure of the thing that's gonna light you up enough to take action towards, then one of the practices in our book that we recommend is to make a list of 50 things that you would absolutely love. 50 doesn't seem like a lot, but honestly, once you start putting it down, you would be surprised because you probably have about 20 things on your mind consciously that you could be like, yep, this is what I would want. You'll probably blast through the first 20 and then it'll be a stretch to get to the 50. But you want to get to the 50 because you want to allow yourself to stretch and to relish in that feeling of, oh my gosh, you're making your list. This is almost like you're asked to the universe. What is it that you would love to be able to experience? It is a beautiful practice in itself. And then you can get real clear on what it is that you truly want. Once you have your list of 50, go through it again and just put stars on the things that you would want more immediately than some of the others. And once you do have those top list of desires that you want, allow yourself to get crystal clear on them. Visualize them. Through visualization, we're actually engaging all 5 of our senses in our imagination and really diving into the experience of having achieved our goals. Our brain doesn't know the difference between what is currently happening in our physical reality and what is held in our imagination. So when we engage in visualization practices, what we're actually doing is we're creating new neural pathways inside our brain of how we will think and feel and behave when we have completed and accomplished our goal. So we're actually creating a habit of having achieved our goal. And by virtue of having that, we are actually going to start moving to create that experience in our physical reality. Also, this is when our reticular activating system will activate because whatever is held on the screen of our mind, we're basically indicating to our brain that that is important to us. And in turn, it is going to start seeking proof of that in our physical reality. This is something that you may have experienced when you go shopping for a car, for example, and maybe you really wanted this certain vehicle. And all of a sudden, you started seeing it everywhere on the road. It doesn't mean that they were magically placed there on the road. They were always there. Your brain just didn't know that it was important for you. And so you weren't seeing it. But when you do, tell your brain what is important for you, and this is what you're doing when you're engaging in practices like visualization, then your brain is then working for you and giving you a clear direction, a clear roadmap to be able to get there. You are going to start paying attention to things that will lead you to your goal that quicker. This is truly such a powerful exercise. So number 4 is know exactly what it is that you want. Get crystal clear enough to be able to engage in visualization practices. Number 5, create your end self. This is really about making adjustments to our self-image to make sure it's congruent with the end version of ourselves or the person that we would be having achieved our goal or our desire. There are so many different labels out there. There's self-image, self-concept, self-identity. I honestly group it all together. Our self-image is the deep-rooted belief that we have of ourselves. It's how we define ourselves. It's how we see ourselves operating in the world. It's how we define what we're worthy of being able to experience. And so we want to do this in 2 ways. First, we want to get clear on our current self-image that we have. What do we believe of ourselves right now? Are there any limiting beliefs that we have that we know of, that we don't have to dig too deep to find it, because we know when we think of our goal, is there a little voice that comes up that tells us that we're not capable of achieving that, or maybe that it's going to take so long for someone like you to be able to get that amount of success, or whatever it is? And once you've really gotten clear on, okay, what are the beliefs that I have of myself right now in relation to this goal, write down the opposite belief, the positive opposite, because we want that to become our new self-image. We want to identify as someone who is worthy, capable of achieving the goal that we want. And the second part to this is, while we're doing our visualization practice of our goal achieved, we're already engaging our 5 senses. We're already immersing ourselves in the experience of having achieved what it is that we want. And so while we're in this visualization, we want to ask ourselves, what do I believe about myself in this moment? Now that I've achieved my goal, what do I believe of myself, of my worthiness, of my capability? How do I feel? How do I think? How do I communicate? What is my self-talk like? We really want to get to know ourselves, get to know the us that we would be having achieved our goal. And write it all down, whatever comes to you. Once you get all of that, we can combine this part 1 and 2 together to create a self-image script. And this is a script that we will want to either read on a daily basis, or we'll want to record it. We could record it on our phones and just repeat it, because these are the new beliefs that we want to instill within us. Our beliefs were formed through repetition and emotional impact, and we're using both of these ways to be able to rewrite limiting beliefs with more positive beliefs. We are introducing repetition into our life through reading our self-image script or listening to our recording. And we're also rewriting through emotional impact when we are visualizing and engaging all 5 of our senses. Number 6 is express gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations that we can be on. It invites so much positivity into our life when we express gratitude for the things that we have, and it even works for the things that we don't yet have. When we affirm to ourselves, I am so grateful to be living my dream life. I am so grateful for this new vehicle. I'm so grateful for this amazing love. I'm so grateful for this incredible job. I'm so grateful for all of my amazing clients. Whatever it is that you want, whatever it is your goal, you can also express gratitude for it, even if it's not physically here yet. You can express gratitude, give thanks for it, because of course you're visualizing it and you are creating that as a present reality in your brain. You are rewiring your brain. And so if you are expressing gratitude for that as well, you are just reinforcing that even more. And again, you are really inviting positivity into your life. This is a great way to be able to reframe too. Whenever we're starting to feel a little low, just being able to turn around and give thanks to the things that we have around us. I know that gratitude can sometimes, maybe be a little bit overrated at times or seem overly simplistic, but it truly is so powerful. And one great way that we can look at it is to imagine that everything that you have in your life today is gone tomorrow. What would you miss? Wouldn't you be grateful for everything that you have? Because we can always have better things. And as humans, we're wired to always seek more. And so we can end up, neglecting the things that we currently have because it's not, the next best thing that we want. But what if the things that we have right now were gone tomorrow? Would we be grateful for them today? Would we cherish them today? Number 7 is to live in faith. Have faith that you will accomplish your goals. It may not be on the specific timeline that you want, but so long as you keep your mind set on it or keep your sights set on it, you will achieve it. One of the best quotes that I've heard about this is faith and fear are both believing in the unseen. So we can either allow ourselves to get caught up in fear, caught up in those limiting beliefs, which, let's be honest, is typically what happens when we stop believing or we stop striving towards our desires. It's because of a fear, whether we're crossing our comfort zone and it's becoming all too much, or we just don't believe that it's something that we are able to accomplish. But this is just as formless as is having faith in ourselves, having faith in a greater and grander source energy than ourselves, and knowing that my happiness, if I'm happy, the universe wants me to be happy too. And so long as this is truly making me happy at a core level, the universe would love for me to have that too. Universe, God, source, whatever it is that you like to use and like to view it as. And so when you are rooting for your happiness, the power of the unseen source, the substance that unites us all, is rooting for you too and working towards that happiness as well. You have the power to choose. Whether you choose faith or fear is up to you. It's both a belief in an unseen force. Number 8 is bless and release. This is when the ongoing inner work comes in, when we become aware of limiting internal beliefs, internal narratives, when we begin to recognize the patterns in our lives that aren't serving us, when we always come across against struggles, when we have blocks, when we uncover maybe trauma that have been experienced in our life, in our little life, or even in past generations that are preventing us from moving forward in our life today, we are going to want to bless and release them. One of my go-to practices and favorite practices, as I'm sure you know, is EFT tapping, to really tap through any block or fear that I'm feeling to be able to move the energy and invite more positive affirmations so that I can continue moving forward. There are other powerful healing techniques like neural energetic encoding, where you can go onto your timeline and back to a past event to be able to bless and release what has happened and retrieve the learnings from it so that you can continue. There's inner child work, shadow work, breath work, hypnosis. But honestly, journaling is such a powerful practice as well. And it's something that we can do literally all of the time. Journaling allows us to become aware of what it is that we're experiencing or what we may be experiencing. Journaling allows us to become aware of the patterns, and sometimes that awareness is all that we need. If we know that when we're going to do something new, we're going to start to feel the fear, then we can almost expect it. And when we feel the fear, we can use it as our signal to keep moving forward. And so journaling is such a powerful practice. As you go through, and of course, as I mentioned, these aren't necessarily steps. Like, this is something that you are going to experience throughout your entire journey. But when some of these blockages, these challenges, these struggles come up, you want to acknowledge it, put yourself first, and give yourself the time to be able to work through it, to bless and release it. You are your best asset. Again, you are the creator of your life. You really want to give yourself the necessary time, the space, and also the grace. We have a lot of stuff that we need to reprogram if we truly want to live our best life. It's nobody's fault. It's just the way society is. It's how we've been programmed to have these limiting beliefs and these traumas that, again, could be passed down by generations. And so when we do uncover this, we want to be easy with ourselves and love ourselves enough to do the inner work that is necessary to be able to release it and continue moving forward, because we are worthy of that dream life that we want. And finally, number 9 in the book is our mastermind chapter, which is really about finding community when you are on this journey of surrounding yourselves with others who are on a similar path. But I want to go a step further and call this step curate your environment, whether that be your community, which is a huge component because we are the sum total of the 5 people that we hang around with most. So you want to make sure that you're hanging around with people who believe in accomplishing and achieving their dreams and their desires and living their greatest life and continuing to expand. You want to be around people who are going to encourage you and motivate you. Whether that is in person, take an inventory of your surroundings and who you have around you, but also online, take an inventory of the people that you are associating with online, communicating with, what is happening on your social feed. Like, just make sure that the people that you are surrounding yourself with makes you feel good. I know that being in the online space, having been an online entrepreneur for the past few years, it could be really lonely. And it is so important to be able to find a supportive community. I mean, this is truly how the book came to be. I had joined a mastermind group, and this is where I met my 3 amazing co-authors. And so can you find yourself a group? If you are feeling like you can't find a community of people that are really on a similar mission as you are or are doing similar things? Can you find a group online? And if not, we just opened up the Collective by Trésor House, and this is a group of online coaches and creatives. We get together on a weekly basis to be able to support one another, share our journeys, learn from one another. And so if you are looking for a like-minded community, then the Collective may be for you. I've included a link below so that we could chat more about it. And other areas of your environment is your home. How is it? Do you live in a clean place? Is it organized? Does it feel good? Do you feel at ease in your own home because it's tidy and it's refreshing and it has beautiful natural lighting? If not, how can you curate your environment? How can you put more lighting in your house, or how can you tidy up? Do you often look through your closet? Are you happy with the clothes that you're wearing, or do you need a new wardrobe change? And can you do that? How's your garden? What does the outdoors look like? All kinds of things. Does your environment around you truly make you feel good? And if not, can you start to make small tweaks so that it feels good to you? And consider all of the work that you have done so far. You've set your goal, you are visualizing it, you've created your self-image. You know how that feels like. You know how you're going to feel once you have achieved your goal. Bring that feeling into the now. How can you curate your environment so that you feel that way predominantly? So this becomes your dominant feeling. And once that is your dominant feeling, you will be inspired to move in a way that creates the life that you have been envisioning for yourself. So these are the 9 steps shared as chapters in our book, and not so much steps like we check off one and on to the next, but to do all together if we really want to manifest our desires, or in other words, achieve our big goals. If you enjoyed this episode, I want to do something special for the rest of the month. Please take a screenshot right now and share it on your Instagram. You can tag me at Jessica LM West, and I am going to do a draw for a copy of my book, Manifesting with Purpose. I will send that to you if you are the lucky winner that will be drawn on May 31st. So go ahead and do that. Again, tag me on Instagram at Jessica LM West, and share this with someone who you feel would benefit from this episode, or who is maybe a little bit averse to manifestation and would like a little more explanation of it. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and until next time, be empowered. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a rating and review. It'll help me grow the show by reaching a wider audience. And if you'd like to continue this conversation, join me inside my private Facebook group, Just Launch. This is a great place where we can connect on a more personal level. You can find the link in the show notes.